Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our series of planning and forecasting that we are undertaking over the last few months and moving forward. Today's session is basically on Power BI planning forecasting with Kepion. I'd like to thank everybody for attending. Obviously, those in Victoria are all in lockdown, as I am. So hopefully this is a bit of a distraction and a bit of knowledge coming through that process there. I have my assisting today with myself is Abdul from the planning division. As I said, my name's Dennis Della Costa. I've been with Professional Advantage for over 20 years. Prior to joining Professional Advantage, I was a finance director for a large Italian multinational and working in the commercial side of that area, and joined PA about 20 years ago when we first came into Victoria. And the main person today who will be taking the session will be Abdullah Salam. Abdullah has vast experience in this whole area of business intelligence and corporate performance management. He's been a senior consultant in this area, has worked around the world deploying implementation projects in the CPM or the corporate performance management space, and he's very passionate about what he does in this area here, passionate about this whole area. So the agenda for today, obviously just following the agenda that was on the invite. So what we'll hopefully touch across these points by the end of Abdullah's presentation, these 7 points. We'll touch on how we can connect to multiple data sources, how calculations will be done, with code free and so forth, real-time write back to Power BI, what if analysis, data insights, improved variance analysis, and then reducing the dependency on spreadsheets and how we can look at this application and reduce that dependency, which I believe from a lot of people will probably still be quite dependent on Excel spreadsheets and so forth. The platform that we'll be showing today, obviously the Power BI platform, Microsoft Power BI and Kepion, the two platforms are like a jigsaw puzzle. They fit perfectly like a hand in a glove, and they complement each other in what they do. The Kepion strengths is budgeting, forecasting, modeling, what if analysis, corporate performance management, financial reporting, and so forth. And the Power BI application provides all that visualization of this data in any format, dashboarding, and so forth as required. So the two will form a very beautiful link together. And if you have a look at this area here, you can see that the Kepion solution is totally dependent on the Microsoft platform. So Kepion as the base of the planning solution can be deployed on premise or in the cloud. It operates all on the Microsoft server, Azure, and so forth. It can build apps around the way you work. So an app is a view or a budget, a sales planning app, an operational planning app, HR planning app, and so forth. And then Power BI is embedded, sits on top of this whole platform in terms of displaying real-time write back capability and so forth in that area there. Just to start, just a quick poll before we start off. What are the main challenges in your planning process today? From the results of the polling that we've just done, it's interesting that we see that the biggest area of challenge that organizations face is consolidating data from multiple sources. And when we visit organizations who are wanting to have a chat about improving their whole corporate performance management, budgeting, planning, reporting, this is one of the biggest areas of heartache, is bringing this data in and being able to consolidate this multiple sources, payroll, finance, operational systems, CRM systems, and so forth. And I can see that the second biggest area is the use of spreadsheets for planning. And hopefully today, through this session here, we'll be able to address both of these areas here. And then the third biggest one is the lack of interactive visualization of the data, which is common also in that area there. So look, thank you very much for replying to that poll. What I might do now pass you over to Abdallah. Abdallah will take us through the main 30-odd minutes of the main part of the session around the solution and touching on each one of those points of the agenda and trying to address some of these poll results also. Thanks, Abdallah.
Thanks, Dennis. Hello, everyone, and thanks again for joining us today. In today's webinar, I will show you some of Kepion capabilities in conjunction with the Power BI. Kepion is a CPM solution built on Microsoft technology. That's why it's seamlessly integrated with products like Power BI and Excel. It is easy to learn, easy to deploy. You can really build powerful and complex budgeting models without writing any code. You can easily integrate with and load data from any source, including your ERP, your CRM, your HR system, whether that system on-premise or in cloud. So in a nutshell, you can build end-to-end CPM solution using just Kepion. And that leads us to a fundamental question. Why do we need Power BI as a part of our CPM solution or on top of Kepion? First of all, Power BI is the market leader in visualization and self-services. As most of you know, it is easy to learn, and you can build powerful and interactive dashboards and reports without development experience or without technical knowledge. Also, Power BI has a great user collaboration and mobility options. You can share reports, you can share insights, and you can set up alerts. Another important reason, today, most of our organizations have existing Power BI knowledge and skill set, which is basically Microsoft skill set. So why we don't leverage these resources rather than invest in new technology and learn new tools? Now let's start the demo. So this example of income statement report for multi-entity, multi-department organization, these filters are reflecting your existing business dimensions. As you see here, we can drill up and show the result for your group, or you can drill down and see it at the entity level. You can build security around these dimensions, so only people who are allowed to access data for Asia Pacific would be able to see Asia and Australia, for example, and that's for a budget or data entry or reporting. The figures here could be from your actual system, if the version is actual. This could be your ERP, your CRM, or maybe your data warehouse. And you can build a limited number of scenarios. You can build forecast, budget. You can build any kind of what-if scenarios. It is Excel-like product, so something like highlighting cells and being able to see the total, count, and average. We have here two great online analysis functions. Let's say, for example, we need to analyze this number. So right-click on the number and simply go to drill through analytical. And here you can just see, I need to see the breakdown by entity and then by month. Here you go, that's the result. You can switch between dimensions. Even you can add more dimensions. Then you can share the results with any other user, or you can export it to PDF or Excel. Another drill through option, which is drill through transactional. Sometimes we have the figures from the actual system, but we need to see the details. Let's say that's the total actual, and we need to see the actual journals or the actual transaction in our ERP. And this is easily done by this query and this is by the way, reads online from your source system. The sync or the integration between Kepion and your source system happens automatically. Could be overnight process or action-based process based on bottom like this. I have some customers schedule this update to be done every 30 minutes or every one hour. This typical example of of Power BI dashboard. In this dashboard, we will see loading. I have here a map chart that shows us total revenue by geographical region, then total yearly revenue per region, and trend analysis per country for total revenue and gross margin. So let's say we need to have a closer look into the US, for example. Just select the US here. And the dashboard would be filtered to the US. Or you can go to the next report, which is product mix details. And here we can just drill down to product mix, or even we can select more than country together if you want to have a comparison. So much for reporting. Let's turn now to budgeting and write-back functions. I'll keep this open. Let's do this for Australia. The first example here is expenses planning. Again, different dashboard, different layout, and I'll start with bottom-up budgeting. And inserting or doing budgeting here is something very similar to Excel. So let's say we expect to have, we need to input a budget for vehicle lease here in May, 3,000, for example. Just press update, and immediately you'll see the results on the total accounts and total year. If the input is negative, you'll see it in red, like this. And immediately you'll see the change in your income statement. You don't need to write number. Let's say we have like 10% monthly increase. So simply write Excel equation here. Drag the equation as if you're using Excel. Already 10%, so let's do it 20%. Let's update, and that's the change of our budget. You can increase by percent. So let's say we need to increase all our records or our accounts by 15% in one shot, like this. And that's the change. You can spread a number. So let's say we have we need to spread a number of 12,000 across the year for this account of suppliers. Just select the accounts like this. You can do it for more than account together. Spread. You can spread the number. You can allocate the number on top of the existing number, or replace it. I'm going to replace it. And that's the allocation. Another option here, as you see, the allocation here done equally. So I can allocate actually proportionally, which means I would consider the existing numbers allocation. And this is very helpful for businesses who want to keep the performance from actual. For example, hotels, they have high season and low season. So when they do the budget, they just copy their actual performance and override the actual. The number which is entered here would be allocated according to the actual. What we see here is Power BI visual, which already integrated with Kepion. If we just reload the frame here or refresh the page, this will be updated automatically. So let's test, for example, August. August budget is 17,378, which is this number. If we increase this number, so let's say, for example, and update refresh the Power BI visual. That's the new one, the new number. Another way to do a budgeting is top-down allocation. In bottom-up budgeting, we do the entry or the input at the account level, at the least level. So we are not able to do it at the total expenses. We have to do it per department. We can't go ahead and allocate the number across all departments. Same for the entity. We have to do it for the entities itself. We can't do it at all or America. While in top-down allocation allows us to do that kind of allocation from the top level. As we see here, there's another enter screen and other Power BI visuals. So let's say, for example, we need to increase Australia budget by 10%, regardless the account and the department. Just go ahead and right-click on total operating expenses and just increase it by 15%, for example. And in one shot, you got all the budgets increased by 10%. Or let's say, for example, what if our IT across the group increased by 15% again? And you can do it at the account level. So let's test again the Power BI visuals. So the IT expenses for Australia is 769. This is the total IT for expenses, this tree graph. If we focus on Australia, this should tell us both numbers. This is sometimes useful when you need to push down top-level budget to departmental management or the entity level and let them work within their limits to work out their bottom-up figures. So let's say we need to set a budget for Australia to reach a specific number. So let's say we need this is your target for this year, 9 million. So we set the target here, then at the entity level or the department level, the budget holder need to come here and adjust or see how he's going to meet that target. If you note here, some of the accounts are not editable. So we couldn't enter or we couldn't update, for example, insurance or salary accounts. And that's mainly because it's not usually the budget is straightforward like this direct entry. Usually we build kind of rule-based budgeting or calculation models to calculate the figures. Like in this case, payroll module could be CapEx or any kind of rule-based budgeting. I'm going to show you an example, a basic one for this kind of planning, which is travel expenses. As you see here, travel expenses accounts are then disabled. We can't enter a number here. If we go to this screen, let's say, so let's say we are planning a trip to New South Wales, and this will be in August. The trip would be from Melbourne to Sydney, for example. For employees, 5 days. And the transportation method is plain. Once you press update, all expenses related to this trip would be calculated automatically and posted to your budget here. The calculation done based on this simple and basic assumption screen. So we define here, we configure here in this configuration screen, the trip from Melbourne to Sydney on plane will cost these expenses. And to be honest, this is very basic and very simple one. We deployed more complex rule-based budgeting models for our customers. Something like grant management planning, NDIS-based budgeting, recruitments, and outsourcing budgeting. Also payroll and FTE-based planning. Now let's have a look at another example. Revenue planning. Again, different dashboard, different layout. In this dashboard, I can do my planning at the SKU level or product level. But I'm going to do it at the brand level, which is higher level, so I can apply different what-if scenarios. So that's my assumptions. My assumptions bring these numbers. So let's say, what if we got high demand on March, starting from March? So increase by 3%, 3%, 3%. Then June. Then again before the Christmas, we expect high demand. And press update. Immediately, you will see the expected changes due to this sensitivity analysis. So that's the expected total units for that brand. That's the expected cost of sales, revenue, gross margin, and gross margin percentage. And if we jump to this Power BI dashboard, just let me take the number, 5,000,035, and select FY18. We did that for Australia. Australia, this one. That's the same number we got here. We can apply different what-if scenarios here. So let's say, what if we introduce a new discount, winter discount, for example? Winter discount starts in, let's start in May, for example. Start by, we expect total discount 10,000, 12,000 in June, 12,000 in June again, July, in August 10,000, and let's say 7,000 in September. As you see here, we can enter any comments or any text, not just numbers. Now press update and go back to this screen and see the change due to the introduced discount. So after introducing the discount, our gross margin is decreased to 45.2%. Another example here is any kind of on-cost calculations or on-cost expenses. So let's say, due to COVID-19, we expect the shipping and freight expenses increase by, let me make 3%, for example. Across the year, press update, go ahead, change. That's, as you see now, our gross margin definitely decreased. Then we can play here and apply different what-if scenarios to achieve the targeted gross margin. And then you can see a kind of enterprise or holistic review here for all products, all countries together. Kepion has ended workflow option. So whenever you finish, if you are happy with your numbers and you need to submit your numbers, just go ahead and submit the numbers, post the number, or save your budget. And with each action, there is a kind of required comments. So here you can write any comments you want to add, like description of your action. If you need to disclose any kind of numbers or any details, you can write it here. When you submit this or save this, this history of comments is recorded actually, and you will get notification on your email with these entries. And this is mainly for workflow. For example, if I submitted my budget, this would go to the next level. Could be a country manager, area manager, or maybe my boss. And my boss is going to receive these comments. He can amend my budget, or he can write other comments. He can send it back to me, or send it to the third level, which could be like the corporate office. And anytime, all these comments are saved. And this is, by the way, very great collaboration tool. Another option here is attaching file. So let's say you have external calculation sheet or any other disclosure you want to keep with this budget, just attach here and it will be accessible anytime. All these visuals and Power BI is built actually in Power BI here. So your user can access them in Power BI if you want. You don't have to use Kepion. So you can utilize Power BI options like share the mobile app. Also, you can update the reports from here. So let's do a quick test. I'm going to update this chart. Save it. Refresh Kepion. That's the new chart. Before I wrap up what I covered of today, I would like to visit again my fundamental question. So why do we need Power BI? Most of the times we have existing data assets in our organization, something like operational data warehouse, CRM system, online data, maybe unstructured data, cloud data warehouse, and we need to implement Kepion or CPM solution for specific function, like financial planning, for example, or HR planning. The challenge here is our business required reports and insights from all these sources together, not just Kepion. So the management wants to see the planning for financial planning in Kepion, as well as the operational data from other systems. Yes, Kepion is still a solution to bring in all these sources together in Kepion, but Power BI provides us with a smarter solution. So Power BI itself, a modeling tool. So we can, in Power BI, easily build models, and this model have data from Kepion, from big data source, from cloud source, from any source, and then build reports, kind of enterprise reports, including all these sources together. I'm going to show you an example here. In this Kepion model, I have just financial planning and these levels of planning you have seen, but I don't have point of sale details, for example, and I don't have customer details. So what I did, I just built a model in Power BI and included Kepion with my CRM and my point of sale data, and I could build something like this. This is, again, typical Power BI dashboard, and it includes data from Kepion, from our point of sale. I can do further analysis here by sales managers or by region. I can drill down to the store level. And this is for the customer from my CRM. So again, I can do it by store manager monthly, and I can do it by drill down to the if I'm doing sort of wholesale, I can do it for the industry type. Also, I can see a scorecard for each store manager or country manager. All these details are not available in Kepion. They are available in 4 or maybe 3 different systems. And thanks to Power BI, I could bring all them together and build these dashboards within Kepion. So means your budget holder will be able to enter the budget and see the other information and the other analysis from the other systems within Kepion. He doesn't know this comes from which system or built in Power BI or Kepion. So let's summarize what briefly I have covered today. We have seen several examples for budgeting, whether direct entry or automated calculation. Also, we have seen examples of different what-if scenarios. We have seen how Power BI is totally integrated with Kepion, and we could implement rich visuals from Power BI into Kepion planning. And finally, I really encourage you to attend our next deep dive workshop so you can see more planning cycles and more examples. That's all from my side today, and I'll hand over to Dennis. Thank you.
Thanks, Abdallah. Just another quick poll while we're looking at this. So, quick poll, what is a high priority planning use case in your organization? Where is it? Where would you see planning being? It's a high priority within your organization. Thank you very much. You can see the results on the screen here. Expense and overhead planning's come flying at the end, and then revenue planning. And this where people struggle within those two areas, although they sound simple, is that a lot of that information that they use for this planning area is actually coming from various different systems to help calculate. i.e., I'll give you an example in the not-for-profit space. Although not-for-profit sounds like it could be a simple business, let me tell you, planning and forecasting in the not-for-profit area is one of the most complex areas. For those that are working in that space, you'll probably understand what I'm saying. Expense, overhead, grant, program, NDIS funding, and so forth. A lot of this information is coming from various sources, and trying to bring all that together to get a proper plan is very difficult at times. So thank you very much for replying to this poll. I might just try and grab a couple of questions. The first question in the audience, and he's saying, can we track who made changes to the values of a cell?
Oh, definitely, yes. We have kind of audit trail option. It shows you the history of the cells, who updates, and when the update's done.
Excellent, thank you. So I hope that answers that question. There is another question from the audience. How do we maintain version control over different forecasts in Kepion?
There are several options for version control. First of all, you can lock the version completely, so no one can enter any data, or no calculations would happen on this specific version. Or even you can lock specific months only. So let's say, for example, you are doing Q2 forecast, and in Q2 forecast, you need to disable just the first 3 months and leave the rest of the year open. And this is very easy to be built in Kepion.
Excellent. And as the last question, we've got one more time for one question from Jackie. Are we currently looking at Power BI or Kepion product as part of your presentation that you just presented?
Oh, integrated together. So Kepion integrated with Power BI.
Yeah, like I said, I'll just touch on this. If we went back to one of my original slides, which showed the jigsaw puzzle, it just shows how the two work hand in hand with each other. At times people do get confused whether we're in Power BI or Kepion doing the area, but you can see how the two products work hand in hand. Look, that's all we've got time for. Oh, maybe I'll flow one more question. There's a question from Keith. Can you have workflows built into Kepion to automate processes, such like an approval process?
Oh yes, Kepion has. I mentioned that in my demo. Kepion has a pre-built workflow up to 3 levels. So you can submit the approver, first approval level and second approval level, and you can also configure sort of automatic notification. When I submit my budget, the second level will get notified already on by email. Then he can update the budget and send it back to me, or send it back to the next level, up to closing the budget and get it approved.
Excellent, thank you. Look, it's come to the end of our presentation. If you need some more additional information, for those that are obviously already existing Professional Advantage customers, same area, just go through your account manager and they'll be able to address any questions you may have and so forth. Or for those that are not Professional Advantage customers and want further information, please just contact our inquiries at pa.com.au area, or phone the phone number 1-800-126-499, and we'll attend to any queries that you have coming out of today's presentation, or any other questions that you may have in general regarding planning within your business. Look, we've reached the time. I'd like to thank everybody for attending. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you at our next series. Thank you. Bye.